Broadcasting live from SETI Alpha 6 in the Andromeda Galaxy, this is Mr. C.
Well, happy Tuesday to you, 8th graders. So you've got a white sheet. I think you've already numbered to 10 on that white sheet, and I have good news for you. A little optional point activity. And some of you are going, you know what, I could use every point I can get my hands on, given this is the last week of the quarter. Exactly. So anyway, I hope that'll help you. So we'll get to our homework in a little bit. It's up on the board, but it requires a bit of detailed explanation. So if you've already gone ahead and put it in your lesson planner, way to go. So you have numbered, or you're numbering your white sheet to 10. Great. You'll need a red pen out. So, and I think you've probably already got that out. You've got your journal ready to go and all of that. Hey, let me give you a few just announcements for the week, just as reminders on this Tuesday. So first, you've got extra credit still that's on the table if you haven't done it. You can turn it in as late as Friday into the stacker. So what have you got? You've got Jupiter and Saturn, of course, the ever closer Jupiter and Saturn. So look for it. You've got Galilean moons to look for around Jupiter. So you need parent signatures for these. Mars is now rising in the evening, probably up by, I would say, 8 p.m. in the east. So you really have three planets now in the evening. You've got Mars, and then you've got Jupiter and Saturn high in the south. Now Mars you could see in the early morning along with Venus. Venus continues to shine brightly in the east early in the morning, 5:30, but it's getting darker later, so probably 5:45. Venus, brightest object in the night sky, except for the moon. So really it's number 2 in brightness. So, and I think Jupiter's number 3. So anyway, cool stuff to be able to see those. So so go for all of that. There was also Stellarium, or the app on your phone, 15 minutes with it, looking at the night sky with either Stellarium or the phone app that identifies the night objects. So parent signature on that as well. Late work and also makeup tests by Wednesday. Please get them done. Okay. Journal's up to date. You know I'm going to collect your journal. So I'm collecting your journal on Friday. So journals. Now, again, remember, if you're not feeling really well later in the week, or if you know you're going to be absent on Friday, turn your journal in ahead of time, because I'm grading those over the weekend and my grades have to be turned in Monday. So I have no choice. So you don't want an NS, a no score, on your journal. So turn it in early if you're going to have to. Okay? No test or quiz this week. You're welcome. Okay? So anyway, okay. Now, I redid this for you. You've got LS3 and 4 now. Since I've redone it, Mr. Gilbert can get it out to you. And you've got the cell and its environment now on the one side. So anyway, that'll come in handy later when you need to study, like for finals. By the way, all of these lesson summaries, don't lose them, hang on to them. That's going to be a big chunk of your study guides for the semester exam come December. So don't lose those rascals. They're really, really important. Okay, here are questions for your white sheet. Do well on this. Now I'm trusting you. Please don't look around. Just look at your own paper, your own answers. Okay, this is optional. If you get a 9 or 10 on this, you can turn it in for a last minute score. Okay, here we go. Well, I'm going to go quickly. So this is an optional activity. So write your answers down quickly on your white sheet. Number 1, what is the term for sugars and starches? The name of the chemical compound found in cells, sugars and starches, number 1. Number 2, the most famous of them all when it comes to nucleic acids. What is it? Number 2, most famous nucleic acid. Number 3, all living things are made up of at least, now this is an estimate, 2/3 to up to 3/4 or even more of what chemical compound? It's number 3. Living things are made up mostly, in other words, of what chemical compound? Number 3 on your white sheet. Number 4, what are the basic materials that Jesus made everything out of? All matter. One word answer for number 4, the basic materials that the Lord made everything out of. Am I made of these? Yes, you are. Everything is. Number 5 now. When you've got a basic material and you combine it with another basic material, what do we get? It's number 5. Basic, what do you get? Number 6. Cell membranes are selectively permeable. What does that mean? Little short answer, number 6. They're selectively permeable. What does that mean? That's number 6. Number 7. What's the term for substances, a number of substances that the cell needs, go from an area of high concentration outside of the cell, they pass through little openings in the cell membrane. From an area of high concentration, they spread out, low concentration, and work their way into the cell so the cell can use them. So that's number 7. What do we call that? High concentration to low concentration into the cell. Number 7. Number 8. What do we call the movement of water like this from high concentration outside of the cell into the cell? So what do you call that? There's a name for it. That's number 8. Number 9. What do you call the chemical element? What's the name of it that living things are made of, that cells are made of? What is it? What element is it? What building block is it? That's number 9. Number 10. What is the chemical compound? And I'd like you to write it out. CO2. It's a chemical compound. What is that? It's number 10. What's the chemical compound? All right, let's go over these. Let's see how you did. Okay, number 1, sugars and starches. Now be honest, don't give yourself credit if you didn't get it. Sugars and starches, carbs, carbohydrates. Number 2, what is the most famous nucleic acid? That would be deoxyribonucleic acid, aka DNA. That's number 2. So carbs number 1, DNA number 2. Number 3, all living things are made up of 2/3 to 3/4 of what chemical compound? Water, H2O. Either one. Water, H2O. Number 4, the basic substances that the Lord made everything in the universe out of, what do we call those? Those are called elements. So number 4, element. So when elements combine, element combination, what is that? Element compound. Element compound. So number 5 is compound. Number 6, Cell membranes are selectively permeable. What is that? They're selectively permeable. What does that mean? Little short answer. That means they let certain things in that they're supposed to. That's the way Jesus designed them. And they keep certain things out that aren't supposed to come in to the cell. That is selectively permeable. Let some things in they're supposed to, keep the things out that they're supposed to keep out. Number 7, what do you call the movement of chemicals from an area of kind of like packed concentration where the atoms are really packed in, and then they automatically move to an area of low concentration, and that includes into a cell? What is that called? That's number 7. It is diffusion. Diffusion for number 7. Number 8, if it's water that's diffusing, now I showed you on my clipboard yesterday, I put H2OSMOSIS. What is that? Osmosis. Osmosis. Now today if you put H2 osmosis, that's okay. But it's just OSMOSIS. Osmosis, if it's water that is diffusing. Osmosis for number 8. Number 9, the molecule of life, not molecule, but element of life, carbon. Carbon. C, carbon. You could put C, that's fine. You could put C, no worries. Okay, and then CO2, what is that? That is carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide, the gas that you breathe out. O2 in, CO2 out, carbon dioxide for number 10. Now, if you had a 9 or 10 on it, put that at the top. Be honest. If you're not sure, turn it in anyway. I'll have a look at it. So put what you think you got over 10. Just be honest with me. Okay? Initial down below. Your promise to me and the Lord that you'll be honest. And then pass that into the center. All right? Pass that into the center. Now we've got to grade this, the cell and its environment. Here it is. So we've got to grade that. And you were to put bullet facts on the back from page 38. So I'll look for both of those. So here is number 1. Water diffusing through a semi-permeable membrane is called osmosis. So number 1, osmosis. I'll be looking for page numbers, of course. Number 2, occurs when a cell engulfs large particles. That is endocytosis. Endocytosis. Number 3, the cell membrane is built of a double layer of lipids or fats. Lipids or fats. Number 4, by the way, each one of these is worth half a point this time. So this will be worth 5, this will be worth 5. So 10 points on the table. Number 4, facilitated diffusion moves large molecules through protein channels. Remember those openings that were in the diagram that assist things to get through? It just so glorifies God because it is so complex. Proteins that are on the outside border of the cell, the membrane, that allow things to pass through. And then number 5. So protein channels, number 4. Number 5, cell membrane controls materials that move in and out of the cell, cell membrane. Number 6, proteins that use energy to pick up specific molecules and carry them across the cell membrane, transport proteins. Number 6, transport proteins. Number 7, glucose enters a liver cell through a protein channel. That's B as in Bravo, facilitated diffusion. 7, B as in Bravo. 8, oxygen moving into heart muscle cells. That's diffusion from an area of high concentration to low concentration. Diffusion. for number 8, that's A as in alpha. Number 9, a nerve cell uses energy to pump sodium out of its cytoplasm. That is D as in delta, active transport. D as in delta for number 9. Half a point each. Number 10, water moving, water. As soon as you hear water, like moving into a cell, of course, C, Charlie, osmosis. It's water, so it's the H2O osmosis tip. So C is in Charlie. Put your score, each one is half a point, over 5 at the top. And then initials down below, your promise to me and the Lord that you graded honestly and you tried to grade carefully. Okay? So, number right over 5, each is a half. If you missed one of these, it would be 4.5 out of 5. You get the idea. Okay. All right. Make sure name, date, period, upper right-hand corner. Name, date, period. Don't even think about turning it in unless you've got name, date, period, upper right-hand corner. And then pass it into the center. Thank you. Okay. Now here's your homework. This is your homework. And from pages, it's up on the board, 45 to 49. So you're reading that, and then you're answering these questions. Now look, there's 14 of them. So that's a heap of points. And then you're going to answer these using the graph on the back. Read the directions carefully. Now I want to go over this with you just really quick. Here's what it says. Read the passage and study the bar graph. Answer the questions that follow and answer them right here. It says separate sheet of paper, but put them down here. Stick them here. Okay. So do it carefully. You're reading about pigments up here or different colors. So it's talking about pigments. Now I'm going to give you a hint on this. Green plants have green leaves. Duh, Mr. C. They have green leaves. Why is that? It's because the chlorophyll, the green pigment coloring in the leaf, reflects most of the light. So it's highly reflective. So other colors in the spectrum, Roy G. Biv, other colors in the spectrum, when they hit the leaves, are absorbed. So we don't see them. But there are other colors in the leaves. They show up like in the fall, once the chlorophyll breaks down, the green pigment. So you're going to look at the graphs, and you're going to see which colors are absorbed the most. Reflected the most. What a shock. Look at that. So look at that chlorophyll. The green color is reflected the most. Well, we expected that because what do we see? Green. So there are other questions about the other colors, sometimes 2 questions. So carefully go over that. Carefully. Okay? Go over that and then carefully read these questions. And from pages 45 to 49, answer them. Okay? Now, here's the story. In just a minute, Mr. Gilbert is going to pause and answer any questions for clarification. So he'll clarify anything. Okay? And then once he's done that, some of you are going to work on your homework and you've got plenty to do. I mean, you wouldn't get it done in 10 minutes. Or even 15, if you do a good job. So read those pages, page numbers down where you found the answers. Okay? And then some of you are going to get to go back to the microscopes. Now, those of you who go back in the first group to the microscopes, have I pre-focused them already? Yes. The lights should be on. If they're not, that's the only touching you'll do. Touch the light switch and turn the light on. Don't touch the focus. I've already got them in focus. If, for some strange reason, especially if you're in the second group, it doesn't seem to be in focus, raise your hand. Mr. Gilbert will check and probably find focus. But you don't touch the focus. Please, don't touch. Okay? So you've got your homework to work on. You've got some microscope work to do. Make little drawings in your journal of what you see. Put the number down in your microscope pages in your journal. Put the number down of whatever the station is, MS1 through, I think it's 8. So whatever you're at, put that in your journal. Make a little drawing. Okay? So there you have it. Mr. Gilbert will take over and answer any questions, and then you will get going on homework and on the little microscope lab. I'll see you on Downhill Day, aka Wednesday. Adios.